onto the topic of two subjects that I am somewhat heavily involved with, and the other one heavily involved with. That is feminism and pro-choice.
That's cool. I'm pretty heavily involved in those too.
Now, basically, feminism is the basic belief that all genders, should be seen as equal.
So I actually fact-checked this because, you can never trust what a feminist says. But it does look like, with the definition of feminism, that she is pretty much correct, that it is about the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes, by definition.
That is the very, very basic of it. Is that entirely sum up and completely what it is? Of course not. It's pretty much impossible to do that to such a large movement that's been going on for so long. Now, of course, there are different waves with it, and some waves people are like, yay! And then other waves people are like, what the fuck's wrong with this? Now, the wave that people have been doing the what the fuck is wrong with this wave is the third wave feminism, which is the wave that's currently going on right now, if I am correct.
Yes, you are.
Now, I don't really identify with any specific wave. I just generally want genders to be deemed equal, racism to go away, which it honestly never will, but hey, we can try.
Wow, that's really optimistic of you.
And for things like sexism to go bye-bye. No more hitting on people because of their gender or sexuality or any of that crap. So I want things like complete and true equal play.
That is actually quite ignorant. If you take two people who apply for exactly the same job, the only difference between them is that one of them is a male and one of them is a female, and you can hire a female for exactly the same job at less of a wage than the male, then women would be hired all day, every day, and men would be completely out of jobs. I mean, you can't think that business owners are such assholes that they would hire a man over a woman, even though they had to hire the man for a higher rate because they hate women. I mean, that is my definition of fucking stupid. Also, to respond to your comment directly, if you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it shows that men work on average a total of 8.1 hours, whereas women work on average 7.3. What this means is that men are being paid more over a period of time with earnings because of different life choices. Women are more likely to leave work or earlier, as statistically proven by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which means that men over a period of time do make more than women. However, they are paid exactly the same for the same work. That's the problem with feminism. It's taking both of these words and manipulating them in such a way that makes women seem like victims when they're not.
No more, oh, that's a guy's job or that's a girl's job.
There is a thing called a man's job and a woman's job. I mean, statistically, if you look at, let's just say, lumberjacks, what are they? They are big, buff men who cut wood all day long. I wouldn't see you as a female being doing that. I mean, sure, some women can do that, but statistically showing and generalizing, it is a man's job or it is a woman's job. That's why we see so many women in clothing stores selling clothes and we see so many men being lumberjacks.
No more of only certain genders can wear certain colors.
Boys and girls can wear whatever the hell damn color they want. But it is proven by science from Anya Halbert and Hazua Ling, who are neuroscientists at Newcastle University, and they did a study about this, and on average the study found all people generally prefer blue, something researchers, have long known, but the study also found that while both men and women like blue, women tend to pick reddish and purple hues, while men preferred blue and green. Ling speculates that the color preference and women's ability to better determine red from green could have evolved due to sex-specific divisions of labor. While men hunted, women gathered, and they had to be able to spot ripe berries and fruits. Another theory suggests that women as caregivers who need to be particularly sensitive to, say, a child flushed with a fever have developed a sensitivity to reddish changes in skin color, a skill that enhances their abilities to be the empathizer. Now, that shows that through evolution, girls do prefer pink and reds, whereas boys, they prefer green and blues. So this isn't a cultural norm that marketers are forcing down the throats of children. This is an evolutionary standpoint, and you can't argue with that.
And then there was that whole, pink is not manly, and then everyone started freaking out and go, pink is manly,
What the fuck are you doing?
pink is manly, so stuff like that. So, and I have had arguments on here about feminism a few times. For anyone who goes through everything that I comment on, which would be kind of hard because I comment a lot, you would probably eventually notice that there's some sort of feminist comment going on somewhere, somehow. Now, what feminism is not is man-hating.
And I guess a lot of people like to call me a man-hater, which I happily am.
I want to see a man beaten to a bloody pulp with a high heel shoved in his mouth, like an apple in the mouth of a pig. That's fucked up.
How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
Or get tired of trying to be manly all the time.
I would actually put them all in some kind of camp where they could all drive around in quad bikes or bicycles or white vans. I would give them a choice of vehicles to drive around with, give them no porn, they wouldn't be able to fight, we would have wardens, of course. Women who want to see their sons or male loved ones would be able to go and visit or take them out like a library book and then bring them back. I hope heterosexuality doesn't survive, actually. I would like to see a truce on heterosexuality. I would like an amnesty on heterosexuality until we have sorted ourselves out, because under patriarch it's shit. And I'm sick of hearing from individual women that their men are all right. Those men have been shored up by the advantages of patriarchy and they are complacent. They are not stopping other men from being shit. I would love to see a woman's liberation that results in women turning away from men and saying, when you come back as human beings, then we might look again. And that absolute cunt who said that, the one and only, Julie Bindel.
It is not man-hating, and it is not the want for female superiority. It's actually the opposite. If you want female superiority, you are not a feminist.
The fact is, feminism has been taken over by man-haters. And the fact that it has been means that they've changed what feminism is about. Yes, it used to be about equality of the sexes. However, even though the definition still stays the same, that it is about the equality of the sexes, it has been hijacked. The people involved in it are man-haters, and that is what it's become.
A feminist wants equality. It does not want either group to be superior at all. It doesn't want any sexuality to be superior, or any race, or any of that shit.
Hold on, are you a feminist or are you not? Because you just said that feminism covers race as well. Here's the definition again, and you can blatantly see, by definition, it's saying that it is about the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes. It doesn't say anything about race, doesn't say anything about sexual orientation, doesn't say anything like that. It just talks about the sexes, i.e. the genders, male and female.
Like, complete equality. And then this is where the whole equalitist or humanist thing comes in. That is not a group that wants equality. That is a group that wants things to stay generally the same as they are.
I'm sorry, do you have any proof of that? You shouldn't really be saying things without actual evidence.
Which is, in short, they kind of want male superiority. And then now you've got the menist thing going on, which basically just wants male superiority. That's all that is just male superiority.
Again, do you have any proof of that?
And people going, I got friend zoned! Yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody does that.
And getting pissed off because the girl didn't want to go out with them.
Okay, so you're assuming no heterosexual woman can be one of them, or anyone from the LGBTQ community except for lesbians?
Now, feminism, whilst I am involved with it, I'm not super heavily involved with it. Not enough so to, like, run a feminist blog or something like that. I'm not even close to that involved in it. But I am involved in it, and I do support it, definitely. Just not super heavily. Pro-choice is the one I am more heavily involved with, and this is because it will heavily affect me in some shape, way, or form.
Right, so you're saying that pro-choice is seriously going to affect you because you're definitely going to get pregnant? Also, you're less heavily involved in feminism because that won't affect you as much, even though your opinion about the gender wage gap is that you're going to be paid differently to a man based on your gender? Or have you gone into the future, watched this video, and realized that feminism is bullshit?
Now, pro-choice is the whole pro-choice versus pro-fetus which are people, well, they call themselves pro-life, but they're totally not pro-life. They're quite anti-life, actually.
Oh, I can't wait to rip into you with actual facts and logic while we go through the rest of this video.
But pro-choice basically means you can choose whether or not to be a parent, choose whether or not to have an abortion, or choose whether or not to adopt. Any of the three, really. Whereas pro-fetus is you must be a parent, or you must protect for adoption. You cannot have an abortion, or you are a monster. Or you are a monster. And then pro-fetus will generally hold the view of once you get pregnant, it is a child, which is not true.
Well, boys and girls, the time has come to rip into this vampire for all she's worth. Now, here's my favorite thing in the world, the dictionary. Now, if you look up the word child in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it says an unborn or recently born person. By the definition, a child is somebody even if they are unborn.
A child is a born human being.
As we've just proved, no, they're not.
A fetus is what they're talking about, which is why I call them pro-fetus. It's because all they care about is the fetus. They don't give a shit about living people. They don't give a living crap about that.
Yeah, they do. They just realize that it's another human being that they're talking about, not just the mother.
They don't care about living, born, sentient people. But yeah, I'm pro-choice, basically. You want an abortion? Get an abortion. Go ahead. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing shameful about it. And it doesn't mean you're going to regret it. Most people actually feel relief after an abortion, not regret.
If you're actually talking about a study, which I'm pretty sure you're not, you're probably talking about the one that claims that 95% of women having abortions do not have regrets afterwards. However, the study's findings are overreaching due to the self-selection and high dropout rates. To quote from the study, overall, 37.5% of eligible women consented to participate, and 85% of those completed baseline interviews. Among the near-limit and first trimester abortion groups, 92% completed 6-month interviews, and 69% were retained at 3 years. 93% completed at least one follow-up interview. This means that 62.5% of women refused to participate in the study at first request, and another 15% dropped out before or during the baseline interview, yielding only a 31.9% participation rate at the baseline. With a 68.1% participation eligible women refusing to participate in the study at baseline, it is improper for the authors to suggest that their findings reflect the general experiences of most women. It is very likely that the self-selected 31.9% of women agreeing to participate were more likely confident of their decision to abort prior to their abortions and anticipated fewer negative outcomes. And because of the 15% of those agreeing to be interviewed subsequently dropped out of the baseline interview, and another 31% opted out within a 3-year follow-up period, this indicates that even among women who expected little to no negative reactions, the stress of participating in follow-up interviews led to a change of mind. Now, this shows that women who get pregnant through consensual sex, even they are usually against abortions, or they haven't made up their mind yet, or there are negative connotations to that. What about rape victims? There has actually been a study about this, and you know what? Nearly 80% of the women who aborted the pregnancy reported that abortion had been the wrong solution. Most women who've been raped who had abortions said that abortion only increased the trauma they were experiencing. In many cases, the victim faced strong pressure or demands to abort. 43% of rape victims who aborted said they felt pressure or were strongly directed by family members or health workers to abort. Now, what this shows is that even rape victims don't want to abort, or it becomes worse for them when they abort the child. So you're wrong. It does cause a lot of negative consequences, even for the mother.
But it's okay whatever you feel, regardless of your choice. But the reason why I'm more actively with the pro-choice movement is because I would personally never want to be pregnant. And as a woman, I could get pregnant. So it is a debate that affects me.
You could also walk out onto the road, get hit by a car and die. Does that mean that you're going to join the anti-car movement too?
The same goes with feminism. If you are a woman, you probably should have some opinion on feminism because it does affect you. Same with monogamy. You should have some opinion on it because you are a female. It is affecting you in some shape, way, or form, even if you don't really notice it all that much. Whether you're talking about current day feminism or past feminism, because, I mean, come on, right to vote. You've got to be thankful for that, at least, even if you're not a feminist. I mean. But I don't even think a guy would be like, that feminism was wrong and evil nowadays. In the past, all the guys were pretty much like, this feminism is wrong and evil and it's diluting our women, devil's work. Which is pretty much the same way feminism is treated nowadays. It's wrong, it's evil, it's diluting our women. Woman power, they want to be better than the men. Devil's work. It's pretty much the same shit, just less of the devil's work crap because the world is not as Christian as it used to be. Thankfully. But
I was going to make a comment about that, but the video's kind of getting a little long, so I'm going to leave it till next time.
Yeah. Now, both these subjects probably could do with a longer video, but I don't particularly have a shit ton of time right now. But yeah, I am a feminist, and I am pro-choice, and feminism has nothing to do with man-hating or female superiority. And pro-choice is not kill all the babies. In fact, it has nothing to do with babies, because babies are not inside of people at all. Babies are born people. So are newborns. So are infants. So are children. So are kids. All of that is a born person. A fetus is what is inside of someone when they're pregnant. So that's what we're talking about. Oh, also, with the pro-choice thing and the whole idea of it's killing life or the it's murder thing. Yeah, no.
Okay, I know I said that I'll make this video short, but this is something I do have to comment on. Let's look at the definition of life. The definition of life is the condition that distinguishes animals and plants from organic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death. At week 5, your baby resembles a tadpole more than a human, but it is growing fast. The circulatory system is beginning to form and the tiny heartbeat will start this week. Are you telling me that this is not life when it has a heart and it starts to beat? What about at week 6, when your baby's nose, mouth, and ears are starting to take shape and the intestines and brain are beginning to develop? What about then? Is that life then? What about week 7, when your baby has doubled in size since the last week, but still has a tail which will soon disappear? Little hands and feet that look more like paddles are emerging from the developing arms and legs. What about week 8, when your baby has started moving around, though you won't feel the movement just yet? Nerve cells are branching out, forming primitive neural pathways. Breathing tubes are now extended from his throat to his developing lungs. What about week 11? She's kicking, stretching, and even hiccuping as her diaphragm develops. Week 12, this is when your baby's reflexes kick in. His fingers will soon begin to open and close, toes will curl, and his mouth will make sucking movements. He'll feel it if you gently poke your tummy, though you won't feel his movements just yet. There are 46 steps altogether, but you're telling me something that has a heartbeat, that's something that can feel you if you poke your stomach, isn't life? Or isn't a child? Isn't your baby? I just don't understand how you can think that.
Murder is the intentional killing with malicious intent of a living being that is a person.
You really need to start fact-checking before you say things. The definition of murder is actually the unlawful premeditated killing of one human being by another.
Now, the reason you cannot call abortion murder is because, 1, there is no malicious intent in abortion. 2, there are no beings.
The definition of being is existence, and a fetus does exist.
Or persons being harmed in any shape, way, or form, or killed.
You're telling me that this 24-week baby that has just been taken out of its mother's stomach isn't a person, even though that it can survive by itself without needing to be inside of the mother?
In abortion, because a fetus is not a person or a being. To be a person or a being, you must be sentient. To be sentient, you must be born.
For those of you who don't know, sentient just means being able to perceive or feel things. But what we both know that she doesn't is that at week 12, a baby or a fetus can feel.
And a fetus is not born, obviously. If it's born, then it would be a baby. But it's not. So, yeah, you can't call it murder. So yeah.
I hope you guys, girls, and everything in between have enjoyed this video. If you know any other videos that you'd like me to comment on, please either private message me or comment below. See you guys next time.